Well, hi there. So, my name is Jim Turner, and caught a swarm yesterday. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell. That'd be humble and kind of you. Only takes a moment. So I'm walking through this grapevine here. You can see all these grapes, when these things get ripe in a month or so. Yeah, well, I use that as natural sweetener. So I'm going out here to see if this hive's still there. I don't know. Oh, gotta check one more thing here. See if there's a squirrel in this cage. All these squirrels. Oh, yep, there's one in there. Yeah, I take them to the park. It's a distance away. They destroy my garden. They dig up my strawberries. I'll get up and find strawberry plants, like these strawberry plants, somewhere else. They'll be laying them somewhere else, or all kinds of different plants. They just dig them up, and I'm gonna put a nut here, and they dig up my garden. So I try to keep them called. Anyway, so I'm here to look at the. I get distracted, dyslexia. So I'm here to see if that hive that swarmed in a number of hours ago. Well, it hasn't been quite 24 hours. They came in about two or three yesterday, something like that. About 3 o'clock, I think, 2 or 3. Anyway, they came in about that time, and it's like a 10 or something now. And so let's take a look to see if they stayed. Because sometimes you'll catch a swarm, put it in a box, and you go to check it the next day, and they're gone. I don't like it here. They take off. Let's take a look. See if they're still here. Oh, still there. Look at that. They remain. Oh, this tree is wobbly. So you can see with this peach tree, over the years, because that forest got taller up there, that forest behind me, that used to be way back, and those trees got so big over the decades, and so this peach tree over the same decades wasn't getting enough light, so it kept growing out this way towards this grapevine. And so now I've got this angled thing that's all that's there, and so it's got so many peaches this year. I thought, man, I better put this brace underneath there. In fact, it's already been shifted because of the tree. I got to realign that. I'll have to put up something permanent, because that thing is, with all the peaches that are on this thing this year, I think that tree will just snap right there. Anyway, look, they're doing good. They're doing really good. You girls got enough food in there? Let me take a peek. Oh, you didn't eat all your food yet. Well, good. That means you got, so they must have had, I think they had plenty of storage. They probably came in with a bunch of storage, plenty of storage from wherever they came from. They loaded up. And so that's my main there. So I've called that my peach hive, and that's my main hive. And now typically they're not going to swarm in, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 baited nukes still. So I had 6. One got occupied, and my girls, so my main hive, these girls, they don't really get going until around noonish. So if last night I didn't block that off. I usually block that off and just leave a little entrance like about that every night. Because what happens if I don't do that, I have these wasps that will come in as soon as the light is starting to show. Sun hasn't even begun to rise, right? It's like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've been out here and I've seen those wasps just willy-nilly in and out of the hive, taking what they want, because my girls are sleeping. I've come out here where there's a guard in front of the entryway. I'm looking at her, I'm thinking she's dead. So I got a little stick here, and I give her a tap, and she goes, "What?" That's right. The guard fell asleep on the job, and the wasp was just passing right on by her. She fell asleep. She'd be fired. Yeah, and I've seen other times. There was 5 times in a row in the morning. I got out here, and I left a little entry, and there were 1 to 2 dead bees in between the outside and the inside, right in the entryway. Right? Hey, we've done that in wars. Put the dead sentries up in front and made it look like there's somebody there. Now, did they do that? Or do the bees think strategically? There's no evidence to support that. Zero. In fact, there's people who say that no, bees don't think strategically. Well, 5 days in a row, dead bees right there in the same spot. Left there overnight. They're not there when I close up. So when I close up, it's towards the evening and it's starting to get dark, but I can still see clearly. There are no dead sentries in the walkway. None. But when I get up in the morning, there's several. 5 mornings in a row. Several. Well, nah. They don't think strategically. Like, no way. They're bugs. These bugs can't think strategically. Can they? Well, who's to truly know for sure? Who's the almighty knower, right? Who is that person? So we can only go with our eyeballs. What are our eyeballs telling us? What are we witnessing? Well, we witness it. Don't shrug it off too fast. Go a little deeper analytically, right? Critical analytics. Engaging it in a critical analytical way. Process it. Don't just deny it. Just, is it possible? How and why? And does it really matter how and why? It's actually happening. That's what matters. It's happening. So 5 days in a row, dead sentries. And there's another one right there. And they put it right in the center. So every morning I would come out and I would take my little thingy here. I'd take this little thingy, little wire thing, and I'd come over here. Now typically it's right in the entryway. The dead sentry is in the entryway. I'd go in and I would, drag the dead sentry that they put there. That one's still alive a little bit. Maybe they put the dead, sick, and the dying as right in the entryway, so the wasps that come in and say, "Oh, someone's guarding it." Hey, do bees do that? I don't think they do it, intelligently. Probably if they, if at all, it's instinctive. They don't even think about it. They do it as a collective hive, and one thinks about it, but the other one doesn't. So one thinks about, I put something here. I don't want to sit here in the cold all night. I'll take Sue. She passed away yesterday, and I'll put Sue here. And I'm gonna go spoon with everybody else. We don't know for sure. If bees think like that. They think they've had millions of years to think that the way that they do. And they have 100,000 neurons or 300,000 synapses, connections, and it can go so many different millions of ways, the way that they can think. So, because they got brains, they can think. They can rationalize from their perspective of what they need to do that's in their best interest, and then they'll make a decision, just like we do, really. We do the same thing, for the same reason. We try to make the best decision based on the situation. And for them, it's putting a dead sentry in front of the entryway so they can go spoon all night, stay warm. Every morning. 1 or 2 dead ones right in that little, typically right in the middle, right? It's not strategic. At most, it's either cultural, that they learned from one or the other, or it's just instinct, like all the other instincts, to go out and get pollen and bring it back, and to come out and navigate and remember where the hive is. And to what I've trained them to do is to all the fanners. They used to just be all spread out. The fanners all in there, they're getting landed on. So what I did is I trained the fanners to create an area where they all went to one section and a certain size. So I would take a screen for several weeks. I would take a screen and I would cover that one section. And so all the fanners that were all lined up, they started shifting over. They started recognizing, this is peace and quiet. Would you like a tequila sunrise this morning? This evening we'll have a margarita in this quiet place, right? Right, just quiet place. It's a place where they're doing it right now. They're already starting to form that quiet place. So if you look right here in this corner, that is going to be a quiet place all day long. Before it was helter skelter the whole length. I had the fanners just scattered in randomly every day throughout there. I thought, I wonder if I can train this hive to only have one section where all the fanners go. So I worked at it for a week and I put this screen over it. So what I would do is I would take this screen. So I created an environment on my bees that they'll fan in one section. They used to fan along the whole section, just all along there, getting ran over all day, and I can tell they get agitated, and sometimes they just start walking way far away from the hive just to get a break from being trampled on, for who knows how long. And so over several weeks, I took these screens. I had some that were bigger too, and I put them in this. Oh, there it went. That tree did it. And I put this in here like that, and I left it there for several weeks. And that tree crushed this piece. I had this as a brace, but the tree is getting blown around quite a bit from the wind. Not to break some of this permanent brace. So I had a screen there. I've shown that in some other podcasts, and other podcasts I've shown the process. I made some podcasts of it because I thought it was an interesting process. I thought it was an interesting possibility. So now I don't put the screen no more. Don't need to. They created a cultural set. One teaches the other, teaches the other. Oh, you want a fan? Come over here. Come on, little one. You're new at this. And so they're always getting new apprentices and showing them that this is the area. And then when other bees want to come in and out from behind them or in front of them through that area, they redirect them. There's like a wall. No, you go over here. This is our area. This is the quiet place. This is where the teetoddlers are, right? And so I'll show. They're starting to build up right now. They're underneath, and they're starting their quiet place gathering. And as the day goes on, that will get bigger and bigger, and it'll come way out to the edge of the landing board, and it'll just be packed with quiet place girls. There's no in and outs because they must create some sort of wall on the inside. So the girls who want to come in and out there, they're being redirected to the left. No, you go over there. This is the quiet. This is where tequila sunrises and in the morning and margaritas at night place in the teetoddlers. This is the quiet place. You go over there, in and out. Is that happening? Well, but bees can be trained to do certain things. If it's something that's within their characteristics or instincts or pattern of behavior, if it falls within that possibility, then yeah, they can do that. Just like dogs are training dogs to do certain things, or if it's within their capability and in their brain, their way that their brain functions, yeah, train a dog to do what it can do. You can't train it to talk. Right? You can't train a bee to talk or whatever, or other animal, maybe a parakeet. Isn't that weird how a parakeet can speak, and they can understand why it's saying what it's saying. A parakeet, the brain is like what, size of a pea or something? Hey, girl. Morning. Hope you had your coffee. It's like she's come and investigated my face. She just came over here and she just buzzed me right here. Right back in here. She just buzzed me for a moment. Is it you? Oh yeah, okay. I don't know. Um, it's really important to anybody who's going to get a bee, some bees, or have them. It's important to actually understand their body language, man. It's like if if I was to come out here and not paying attention, and they're like really, their body language has changed, not dramatically, but it's changed in a way that I'm not noticing, and uh, they become aggressive immediately and swarm me immediately. They can actually kill me. Uh, they swarm me immediately. In fact, both hives can combine together and come and get me and kill me like within minutes. You know, sting me thousands of times. Uh, I need to watch their body language and make sure that they're, you know, it's kind of like owning a a Rottweiler or another dog that if you don't understand its body language, it can turn on you and kill you. And it happens all the time. Dogs kill people all the time. They're masters, they're owners, right? People that they supposedly love, they just turn on them, right, and kill them. And so bees are a wild animal, and they can turn on their keeper in a minute, just like a a dog can. You got those people who have lions and tigers and bears that sleep at the bottom of their feet. Yeah, I'd feel better with having a grizzly bear sleeping at my feet, or a tiger, or a lion, than I would say um, a badger or a raccoon. Yeah, there's just certain animals that, yeah. But once you train, if you get a lion or a tiger or a bear, not a black bear. No, I wouldn't want those. I wouldn't want those. No, black bears. Yeah, you wouldn't want that in the house at all. You wouldn't. Wouldn't even be a good idea to have a black bear as a pet. They just have a different wiring of the brain. They do not make good pets. You will never be safe. But a lion, yeah, it'd be like having a big kitty cat. Once they love you, like, and you take care of them, you feed them well, and they get all their needs met, and they also get to love them from you. It's exactly like having a cat. What's the difference between a lion, a tiger, and a house cat? Uh, in their mind, none, zero. They're going to respond to you the same way, right? Yeah. You gotta get them right. You gotta interact with them, understand their body language, and yeah, it's like having a house cat, but it's a tiger. It's sleeping at the foot of your bed, or maybe right next to you, snuggled in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nature's just that way. Um, so yeah, they stayed all night long, and I don't see any. There's nothing going. There's nothing scouting my other baited nukes. Nothing came. Now, typically, you're gonna get when you get a new, when you're gonna get something in one of your baited nukes. First, there's going to be activity, right? There's going to be some activity, and when um, when they stop giving activity, say for example you're sitting there watching it and there's some activity, and all of a sudden there's none, as if they're all just left and there's nothing there. Uh, Likely that's where they're going to come. I mean, there was none up there, and there was a bunch of them circling, going in and out, on yesterday, and all of a sudden there was none, and it was probably about 4 minutes. Some. I was paying attention to my main hive. I was, watching a huge navigation flight starting up. That happens every day. And I some stuff caught my eye to the right, and I started seeing a bunch of bees coming back. I thought, oh, maybe they're gonna give it another go. And then I heard sounds. I looked to my right, and I seen it happening. What it was like a snowman, right? So you got the head, the small head, and then the bigger middle part, and then the big part. When I looked to my right, that's what it looked like. It was like there was a small pack in the front, and then a bigger pack behind that, and then the big swarm behind that. So the leaders were in the very front, and then the sentries of the leaders were behind them, and then the massive swarm, which I bet was also included the queen, was in the big ball in the air, flying this, coming right directly at me. Could you imagine? You're sitting there chilling, just watching your pets do their thing, and then you hear and you sense something, and you see something happen, and it's unfolded within seconds. And you're going, wait, what? Your brain has to process it, but it doesn't. You realize I need to process this quick because it's happening right now, and you see this big black thing coming at you, right? And it's coming directly at you because it has to come at me to get here to get there, because the hive's right in front of my nose. So this area, so I got up and realizing what was happening. I was witnessing a swarm coming right at my face, man. That's what it looked like. It looked like they're coming after me because they were coming right at me, right where I'm sitting. And so I got up and I realized what was happening. I ran and got my phone, and by the time I got back, they had already. It only took me a few seconds to grab my phone. I knew right where it was, and I came back, and this whole area, including this chair and all back and in here, was just a big glob of bees. And if I had stayed sitting here with another second or two, I would have been swarmed. My chair was covered. Everything here was covered with bees. They were waiting for the sentries to go up there and get lined up and then redirect the rest of them that were out here circling. Because it came in, I was telling you how they came in. There was like a small section, and then a bigger section, and then the big cluster. So it's like the small section came in, and they got up around the hive. Those are the sentries that were going to direct, right? And then there was a smaller group that got further away, and then they directed the big clump from where I'm sitting into, like, they made like an airway passageway for all of them just to go right in onto the box. It was really cool to watch. It was like watching nature, and how watching just all unfold in its details, right? Yeah, just really neat. And so that's my day. And so they're still there, right? So pretty cool, right? So I got that hive, and the other hives have quieted down. So I'm thinking yesterday when they were scouting in the morning still, they were still inspecting all these hives. So I had bees in all these hives, including the one in my cherry tree in the front yard. I had girls all up in there yesterday morning. They were still trying to decide. And I think they decided at the last moment, because just moments before I had sit down and saw that swarm, I was looking at the one in the cherry tree, and there was girls all up in there. And there was girls all up in this one. And there was girls all up in those over there. And all of a sudden there was nothing up there. And then minutes later, yeah, in they came. Excuse me, cool, right? Cool to witness something like that. Every beekeeper wants to witness that, I think, firsthand, where the swarm comes right at their noggin, right? It's coming right to them, because I'm sitting here and that's what's happening. It's like, whoa! It wasn't seconds. It was milliseconds. It took me milliseconds to realize what was going on. Looked up. Gotta get my camera. It was no second. It was like, more of a. The thing probably took me longest is to try to remember where my phone was as I was still sitting there going to get up and go get it. Once I looked up and yeah, exciting man. That was an exciting time yesterday. Good memory. I'm glad I got it on camera. Yeah, got that memory on camera. Yeah, it may never happen again. I mean, how many beekeepers really get to witness that? Because what we do is we'll set a box somewhere and go about our daily life, go to work, do our thing. Oh, come back. Oh, there was a hive. There's a bees in that thing. Okay, cool. But we weren't sitting there and watch it as it comes in and surrounds where we're sitting, and then does the. No, we don't have that kind of time. So I need to build some structure for this peach tree because my fear is it is just going to collapse this year. And now that I got a beehive on it, I'm going, yeah, they'll probably be abscond if that falls down and then beehive, yeah. So I'm gonna rebuild that. All right, I just wanted to share the morning after, right? Morning after bees, see if they're still there. I go take care of this squirrel, and it's a busy day today. And all right, please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell. Appreciate that. And I'll keep you updated as far as if I get any more swarms today. Typically, they don't swarm out until a certain weather condition. Right now, it's really stormy wind, like really heavy. That would blow that swarm all over the place, man. If there are any swarming right now, I would imagine they are hunkered in, waiting until the wind to die down, because that swarm would get blown all over the place. I've been sitting over on the other side over there in a little chair, and gusts of wind would blow all of my navigators to the ground, and then about as quick as that gust of wind come, it was gone, and they would pop right back up, and then maybe 5 minutes later, another strong gust would blow them all down to the ground, and that went on for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I was sitting there making a recording. Don't remember what I was talking about. And I'll be doggone, man. One came and landed on my left eyelash, and when she first landed, I could see her clear. She was on my eyelash, and I could still see through my eyelash. And I could see her walking around on my eyelash. At first, she looked calm, right, really relaxed. But as she was stumbling through my eyelashes, I seen her body language change. She was getting nervous, anxious, stressed, and she was going into sting mode, because their instincts is when they come across something hairy is to sting. She had to go from a happy bee, docile, to an aggressive bee, and I watched her body language go that direction. It was kind of sad, really, knowing that this girl's going to give her life for what I just did. I mean, I knew before I started recording. I said, "This is not a good idea. I shouldn't do this. They're going to be blowing right back into my face if they get on my hairs or anything. Yeah, I'm going to lose a girl, and I'm going to get stung." So yeah, I looked like a Neanderthal for about two days. It swelled up on this side. She got me right above the eyebrow. Good thing she didn't get me in the eye. Then I got stung like a week later by it wasn't a bee, it was a mosquito. We have these little tiny, about the size of a gnat, mosquitoes, and man, they go for these seem to go for the eyes. So I'm constantly going like this when I'm out here. I think one came into my room and my bedroom and got me when I was sleeping. And the thing, when you get infected, when you get a bite or an injury to your eyelid, because the blood flow is so minimal, it's really slow, and the nutrients and the antibodies and all that, it heals really slow. So I've been putting, for about a month or almost now, I've been putting Vaseline, baby Vaseline, because that coats it, and that seemed to help a lot. It started healing faster once I started using the baby Vaseline. Nothing else seemed to work. I mean, what can you put on there? Whatever you put on there is going to get into your eye and burn it if it's got anything that can burn your eyes. So I went with baby Vaseline, and I started noticing a difference in a day compared to the last previous week or two. So yeah, baby Vaseline. So my hive is going to pick up. So you can see it's pretty quiet right now, but when the day starts to warm up, well, You should have seen it yesterday, man. About 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. This main hive was so massive what was going on in front of the hive. They were, the navigational swarms were huge on this hive yesterday. Now, most days it's actually really big, but some days it's, those girls that are coming out, they're coming out by the thousands. Never been seen the day of light, the light of day before, and they're just coming out by the thousands all of a sudden. And so they fill the sky. Just like on a swarm yesterday, that swarm filled the sky. Well, when these girls come out of my hive to do their navigational swarms and come out into the world for the first time and try to remember where their home is, and they'll do that navigational flight, and they just fill the sky all up here yesterday. So I had these bees fill the sky yesterday, right where I'm sitting. Then when those girls got done around 2:10 or 2:20, something like that in the afternoon, they kind of, so by about 2:30 or so yesterday, this area was, right before that, this area was just black with bees where I'm sitting. And by about 2:30, it went from total havoc to this yesterday. Pretty quick, 15 minutes maybe I think it took for going to helter skelter to, hey man, what's up? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. And then about 4 o'clock, it got crazy again right here. 4 o'clock, this became a massive, big plume of navigational swarming bees. Just dark again. Of course, they were coming out this way, so the sun isn't over there, so it's not going to cast a shadow. But over there, it was casting a shadow. That's how thick it was. The sun's coming through there and through my grapevine there, and it was casting a shadow on the other side. That's how thick the navigational swarm was yesterday. This is just fun. I come out here and watch nature. I got salamanders and snakes, hawks and raccoons and squirrels. They're like rats. Pests. Man, I find all that stuff all the time. Possums. I've got possums, raccoons, squirrels, rats, all that stuff in that squirrel cage. That's got a squirrel in it right now. I've got all that stuff. And let's take them to the park. Well, the rats I don't take to the park. The rats, they don't see tomorrow. Yeah, because they'll just keep producing. I've got lots of rats in that squirrel cage. Got one that it only had one eye, but it was gray. The eye went gray because it got damaged somehow. I always feel bad about taking out the rats. I used to have pet rats. I raised them from birth. I got rats, and they had babies, and I raised them from birth, and they were my pets, just like my dogs and my cats. I enjoyed playing with them. I had one that we would play tag. I would grab it and tag it, and I'd turn around and start running. It would chase me and come and bite my feet, and I'd reach down and play fight with it, and it would play bite me, and it would get all excited, and then it would run away again, and I'd chase it, and I'd tag it, and we would play tag. A rat. A white rat. Yeah. Never know what you're going to get when you get an animal. Just engage with it freely and let it go from there. That's what I did. Same thing with my ferrets. I had ferrets, rabbits, goat, goose. I don't know. I forgot what other animals. I don't know. Yeah, when I had my kids, I had all kinds of farm animals. I owned my own home at that time, too. All right. Well, you have a nice day. Subscribe. Thumbs up. Appreciate that. This podcast is going to stay dead in the water until people like you say, you know what? I'm going to help this guy out. I'm just going to click this button right here where it says subscription. Right? Yeah, it's that simple. It'd be inspiring for me to keep this podcast going. Might be one of those other people, like, what is it, 98% of those other folks, who are starting to make podcasts and it just doesn't go anywhere, and they, what, this just isn't happening. They get bored because they feel no inspiration from it because it's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. It's just sitting there like a lump on a tree or something. And so, yeah. So people subscribing to context that they watch, it helps the person that's made the podcast to be inspired to, oh, someone did subscribe. I think I'll do another podcast, see if this is actually going to take off. And so, yeah, 98% of people who start podcasts quit, and they never get monetized, or they never make a penny from all the thousands of hours that they invested and anything that they bought to help make the podcast better, or whatever investment they made. It's all gone. 98%, because people watch their videos, but they don't subscribe to them, and they don't do a thumbs up, they don't do a like, they don't leave comments, and we just brush on right on by those folks. So if there's something I'm watching, and they're kind of new at this, I subscribe because I'm interested in their content anyway. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, sure. But if it's got someone who's got like 10 million subscribers, and I'm watching something that's interesting, no, I'll give that to someone else who's more maybe struggling, right? That's just me. All right, now, that's my day. I got to keep that swarm. It's still, well, they can still leave, right? So it's going to be about a week before I really know that they feel content with where they're at. So it's going to take a week. It's kind of weird. My hive is, when I came out, looked at that, and I went, huh, did those girls swarm out? Jesus, possible.